5 second, 3 second, 2 second, start. Now, sir, honorable members will recall that the bill was introduced in the House of the People on the 2nd September 2003. It has had a long history and in one or another it has been before the public since the end of 1949. In the statement of objects and reasons, the various stages through which the bill has passed since 1946 have been summarized, and I need not recapitulate on these occasions the circumstances in which the then government of India took the decision in early 1946 to initiate an inquiry into the reform of our company law. I would remind honorable members that between 1946 and 1948, the entire field of company law was successfully reviewed by two distinguished company lawyers who were appointed to recommend the broad lines on which the present act should be revised. Their recommendations were examined in the then Ministry of Commerce, and certain tentative department views which emerged were circulated in a comprehensive memorandum to all recognized trade and industrial occasions, bar association, the High Court, and the state governments that brought us to the end of 1949. Many representations on this memorandum were duly received from chambers of commerce, trade and industrial associations, state governments, and the general public. At the end of 2000, the government of India appointed a committee under the chairmanship of Sri Bhava to go into the entire question on the revision of the Companies Act, which particular references to its bearing on the development of trade and industry in the company. The company examined a large number of witnesses in many parts of the country and submitted its reports in March 2002. The report again was circulated to all the state governments, chambers of commerce, trade association, high courts, and many other bodies. At the same time, a special officer was appointed in the Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, to examine the report in the light of the view received from the interest public and to submit proposal the government for the revision of the present act. The bill now before the House is based largely on the recommendation of the Company Law Committee, modified in a few particulars. Honorable members will notice that so far as public relations to go, the bill has covered adequate ground. in a measure like the company's bill, however, which covers the entire field of the operations of joint stocks companies. The limits of consultations and discussions can never be exhausted, and I would like to inform honorable member that although the bill was introduced in Parliament over 7 months ago, our officers have been engaged throughout this period in further studies and informal discussion with the interest concerned, and on discussion I have also participated in such discussion. I have also given some further thought to some of the issues arising out of the bill, and I purpose at the appropriate stage to bring before the selected committee any changes in the provision of the bill which seem to me to be worthy or consideration in the light of this further examination. Honorable members would have been noticed that the bill contained 6 clauses and 12 schedules. I think it is probably one of the longest legislative measures in recent legislative history, but its size might be regarded as misleading unless I make a few comments. The bill is both, one must remember, a consideration and amending measures as mentioned in a statement of objects and reasons. This is the first opportunity which has occurred since 1923 for the consideration for the Companies Act. Advantages has been taken of this opportunity to redraft several long and complicated sections in the present Act, which have been split up into a large number clauses. This is the largest single factor accountable for the increase in the number of clauses in the bill. New clauses avoiding substantial changes in the present law would hardly constitute more than a small fraction of the bill. I would also draw attention to the structural changes in the bill to which a reference has been made in the statement of objects and reasons. The redraft of the bill and rearrangement of the existing chapters in the Companies Act in a more logical order have, I think, resulted in a noticeable improvement in the form of the bill, and I hope will facilitate better understanding and appreciation of the scheme. I wish that the act which came into effect long ago was implemented properly. I know that the minister here is very earnest in implementing it, but unfortunately, his colleagues at the state level are disappointing him. Unfortunately, no steps have been taken for trimming or turning up the administration at the state level and the district level. They have to be taken immediately.